Hi, students. We want to be able to get you guys to get some books out of our library into your hands, and so I want to talk about how you can do that. First, I want to introduce you to a new way of looking up books in the library, and you can get to that to two different ways. The hard way is by go to the main website, go to student links, scroll down, and there is a thing here called Follett Destiny Discover at North Prairie, and so that will get you to the website I'm going to show you in a second. But even easier than that is your teachers are going to be sending out a form for you to do to request the books. Right now we're having a little bit of a technical difficulty. Normally we're going to get to the point where you can just go right to this website to request it, but today we got to use this form to do it. So on the form, there is this first little link here that's going to take me to a website called Destiny Discover. Destiny Discover is our way of looking at books in the North Prairie Library. It's way more fun and colorful than the thing that we've used in the past. And just to kind of take a really brief look around it, first it gives me some of the recently added books. So these are things that we maybe bought over the summer and that just got added to our catalog. Down here are popular titles, and then we have a few ebooks, not a lot. We need to work on that area. So let's say this book right here kind of catches my attention. And maybe it's because I already read this, right? A lot of you guys have read this book in class or maybe just for fun. So I'm going to click on that book, and I look over the side and says, well, if you like this book, here's some others that are similar that you might like. So that's a great way to find books that maybe you've already read it, but then again, what's similar to that? This is another one by the same author, Simon Blick, called After Ever After. And then down below, here's one called Lillian Duncan. It's like, oh, well, that sounds interesting. Let's take a look at that. I click on it. I get a description about the book, and then there's also three important pieces of information that I'm going to need eventually. The title of the book, Lillian Duncan, the author, Donna Gephardt, and then I need the call number, okay? And then one other thing to look at is it in the library? Is this little green tab says it is in. If it has a red tab, that means that we don't have it in the library, okay? So this one's out, this one's right over here where it's got a red tab on it. Okay, so we'll go back and take a look at that book, and we can request that. Let's say, though, that instead of just doing a random fun read, your teachers have said, well, you need to do a biography, and you've chosen to do, say, George Washington. And as I start typing in, you can see that books by him come up. Even if I type badly and spell it wrong, they still come up for me. That's nice. So there's George Washington. So I'm going to click on the spyglass and find all the books in the library that are specifically about George Washington. So this is what we've got, okay? You will notice that the accelerated reader level is listed in there if that's important to you to know what it is and how many points. We aren't doing as AR as much anymore, but those are still kind of good ways to gauge if it's the right reading level for you. And so let's say that I look down and I find, oh, Who Was? I know I love the Who Was books because they're fast and easy to read. So I'm going to click on the Who Was George Washington and find out that it is in. Little green tab says it's in. There's the title, there is the author, and there's the call number. We're going to need all that in a minute. So now I found the book that I want. How do I get that book, Mr. Brooks? Glad you asked. I go back to my form. On the form, the first thing I need to do is put in my student ID number. It usually starts with a 2, 1, 2, 2, 2, 3, 2, 4, something like that. So let's say it's a 2, 3, and I'm just going to kind of put in a random number. My first name, I'm going to pretend to be one of my favorite imaginary students, John Smith. John is in the 7A homeroom, and then it says before you request the book, make sure it's listed as in, has that green tab. I can request a book that is out, but realize that the likelihood of getting it's pretty small because it's not in the library unless somebody very recently returned it, okay? So then I need to know the title of the book. Now, I could try and remember this off the top of my head and type it in, or like me, I don't like to type a lot, so I'm just going to highlight it and copy that and come back down here and paste that in. And I really prefer actually that you do it because that guarantees that I get the exact right title when I go looking for that book for you. So I'm going to copy the author right down below that. And then finally, I can call it the call number, and I don't care if you give me the whole thing, but the most important part is this 092 WAS. So I'm going to copy that and put that right down here for my call number, okay? So I have all the information typed into my form. Once again, my student ID number, my first and last name, my homeroom, title of the book, the author's last name, and the whole name in this case. You can just give me the author's last name, and then the call number, and I click submit. And we will be pulling those books for you, and at the next pickup date, we will have them ready for your boxes. So when you guys pull up, give us your student name. You will be able to get those books out of the library. So use that form to request. Later on, we'll get back into Destiny Discover a little bit more with you in my class when we get the system set up a little better. And there's an even easier way to request books, but we'll get to that later. Thank you, guys.